Hi, I'm Stephen Ham from Archery Supplies. Today we're going to look at what's the difference between these limbs and these limbs. So the MXTs and the NSs. Now they're both top of the line limbs and almost the same price. The MXTs have got lots of recurve and these are more standard. So what we're going to do is we're going to measure them both with a poundage thing to see what they feel like. We're going to shoot them both through a chronograph to check the speed, and we're going to see what they feel like to shoot. Okay, now the MXT limbs are 44 pounds, they're both 68 inches, and the NS limbs are 42. So we expect a 2 pound less weight. So that's what I'm drawing with these limbs here, if you can see that. 47.63 pounds. So 44 pounds, I'm drawing 28.5 inches. Limbs are measured at 28 inches. I'm shooting 47. That's not bad, right? All right, let's shoot them through a chronograph and see what speed we get. One thing that intrigues me with recurve archery is you're inclined to change limbs, you're inclined to change risers, or is that just me? Is it like they bring out a new set of limbs and you're like, oh, gotta try those out? With compounds, you don't go, oh, they brought out a new set of limbs, because like most of the compounds have the same limbs, so it's very different with recurve to compound. And with recurve, you go, well, I want to try 2 pounds extra or 2 pounds less. With compound, you just wind up the bow a bit or wind it down a bit. Now, the arrows I'm shooting, these are VAP arrows. They are 600 spine. I think I've got 120 grain points in the end. I don't know how much they weigh. ...216 feet per second, and we'll shoot one more. Now, from what I can remember, is 200 feet per second is pretty standard for most recurve bows. So. .226. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to try the NS limbs. First off, I'll describe this draw cycle. So it feels like the whole way through the draw, it feels the same poundage. I can't feel it stack. It feels very smooth all the way through. With a normal recurve limb, it builds up at the back, so it becomes heavy as you get to that 28 inches. .225. So what some people say, a lot of the top Olympians, they say we prefer it harder at the wall, so it's harder to get through your fingers, so you know when it's going to click, it puts more pressure on your fingers. Some other archers say they prefer it easy to pull through the clicker. So it very much depends on your personal feel. So let's try the NSs and see if I can feel the difference. Okay, so I've fitted the NS limbs. Let's try the poundage of them. Now I'm going to say one of my staff, Ryan, is currently winning the Australian Championship with who shot these limbs, and I'm going to say win and win, just make absolutely beautiful limbs. They're just a stunning piece of art. They really are. They're just amazing. So he's currently winning. I think there's one state to go, maybe, because it was posted because of COVID, because we can't travel. So these are 42 pounds at 68. Look at that. 46 pounds. Now I don't know if you could if you could see when I got to the point of the clicker, it felt a lot heavier. With the MXTs, I just felt like I could keep pulling. It's like it just felt it felt very different. With this, I felt like I stopped. Quite interesting. So let's try the draw cycle out. Now, one of the reasons why you want it to feel like it stops, when you're hitting that anchor point where you're anchoring, you also get the feel if you're hitting a wall, and then you got lots of pressure on your fingers. So theoretically, it makes your release easier as long as you've got the strength to pull through it. And what Win said to me was that a lot of the archers who shoot a lot will prefer the feel of this limb. Where if you're more of a recreational shooter where you don't practice a lot, you'll prefer the feel of the MXT limb because it'll be smoother for you to get through the clicker. Oh, see, like here, at the start it feels like 20 pounds, where the MXTs is power straight off. So I'm going to imagine these limbs are going to be a lot slower. It feels so light. Funny. If you said to me the difference in these limbs, I wouldn't believe you. So $209. $209. Now, what these limbs are like, the MXT limbs, because you're pulling a lot more at the start, you're building your muscles a lot more through the whole process. And when you get through to the clicker point, you just go pull through it because it's kind of the same poundage all the way through. But when you get up to the clicker point with the NS limbs, the poundage is 1 pound less, okay? So it's not heavier, it's 1 pound lighter. You can't tell the difference in 1 pound, but this feels lighter, feels softer. I 210. I don't even understand how I fatigued with these limbs before. I don't know if you remember. I did a video when I first got the MXT limbs, and I first tried them in a review. The very first time I tried them, I could only shoot 5 shots. So I shot 5 shots, and my muscles fatigued out. And I was like, okay. So I went out the next day and I shot 10 shots. Next day I shot about 18 or 20 shots. Anyway, I gradually built up, and now I'm shooting like 60 odd arrows a night. I shot a competition with them, so I've obviously had them more than 3 weeks. I shot a competition. I did fatigue. I shot quite well, but I had some ends where I fatigued big time. So the MXT limb, 226 versus 210. So you could probably shoot an MXT limb at 40 pounds and be faster than these limbs at 44 pounds. That's something to think about. But it depends if you want speed. A lot of recurve archers want speed. And the reason why they want speed is to shoot distance is hard with a recurve. Now the other reason why you want speed is it comes off your fingers easier as well. So let's just shoot one more shot. $209. Now that I'm just thinking, Ryan, I'm keeping these limbs. Now the other thing you probably noticed there is these speeds on these limbs are a lot more consistent. I know that's all me, right? But it's 209, 209, 210, where the MXT limbs was 219, 225, 226 or something like that. Now, in all thing, I didn't have any problems with up and downs. I've been shooting the MXTs with this riser, with this riser for 2 weeks, but I shot the MXTs with my AFT riser for a number of months. This riser I've been shooting for about 2 weeks. I haven't really been getting ups and downs. I've been getting some left and rights with this riser, so I'm blaming the riser. I'm blaming my grip on it. It may not be, but that's quite a different feel. I feel like I want to shoot these limbs tonight and shoot some indoor and see what sort of score I shoot, because they just feel so easy. It like normally after I finish shooting, so when I finish shooting the MXTs, my shoulder at the back here is sore, and I don't shoot to a stage where it's extremely painful. I try and shoot to a stage where it's a little bit where I can feel it, and I take all magnesium and stuff like that to help me build the muscles. With these limbs, I don't feel anything. They just feel they feel so easy. I'm like, these are like little girls. I'm going to say girly limbs, and there's lots of girls who are stronger than I am. .210. Yeah, look, I don't mean I don't get my butt kicked by a lot of girls for saying it, but these limbs feel significantly easier. Significantly easier. So I'm Stephen Hand from Archery Supplies. The difference between the NS Limb and the MXT Limb. I would suggest, if you are interested in a new limb, it's always good to feel. I'm not sure if that helps you or if it helps me, but the differences are substantial. Substantial amounts of speed in the MXT limb, and it's a much harder draw from the very first inch you start drawing the limb. So I'm Stephen Hand from Archery Supplies. Thanks for watching.